What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Locked In Sports Podcast. I'm William Locke, and joining me from Miami, Florida is Luis Barranco. He's got the tank top on today if you're not watching on YouTube or Spotify video. How you doing, man?
I got the Lululemon tank top. Just got out the gym, had a great lift, had my protein shake. I sound like a total Chad right now, but I don't care. It is officially 90 degrees. Rain season is upon us down here in Miami. And we're ready to go, man. I mean, one thing I wanted to ask you, what is on your current gym mix rotation? Like, what is on your playlist? Because I was before the pod, while I was waiting for you, I was eating chicken and rice, obviously, even more Chad with the protein shake. I was eating it, and I had my gym mix still going, and you came on, and I was listening to "Perfect Timing" by Shadur Sanders, and you were disappointed. But let me just ask you if you have anything better. Anything better? I don't think you do.
I don't. That song is insanely catchy. I usually I truthfully go to the Spotify DJ, the AI DJ. But some songs for the listeners that maybe want to get a sense of our music tastes. Somewhere Else by Louis the Child. Been listening to that. Good song. What the Helly? Kind of as like a joke banter song. What else? Let's see. First thing that pops up on my DJ is These Nights by Loud Luxury. So I usually go for like the poppy EDM, not like too hardcore EDM because that's a little too much for me, but like the poppy, maybe like when I'm running, I like a Taylor Swift remix with like some good tempo to it. Sports Center, Boss Man D-Lo.
Real Motion Getter,
yes. And then some 21 Savage in there too. Kind of like a rapper EDM guy at the gym right now. But no, I mean, Shadur Sanders, that song is pretty damn catchy. I'll give him credit for that.
Dude, what the hell? Like, really? Like, you are more Miami than me. Like, that sounds like everybody's playlist at the gym, like that EDM Louis the Child. That's why I gave that look for the listeners. Like, EDM is like back home, we're from Memphis, EDM is like country. Like, everybody listens to it. Like, it's a rite of passage. Everybody listens to it.
Yeah, I feel like country music was a little bigger and obviously Nashville and stuff. Memphis has more. I feel like people are more into. I mean, the rhythm and blues certainly at bars around Memphis. That's all you hear. That's what I'm used to, going into a bar hearing blues, not country. But to your point, yes, general population people definitely listen to country.
Yeah, here it's that for me on my rotation, on repeat. I've been bumping a lot of Charlie XCX. So I'm not about to out myself. I was on Instagram and I found this profile and they just post Charlie XCX. And I've just been going with it. Got a little bit of Playboy Cardi, Destroy Lonely. Some Future. Can't go wrong with some Future.
We went to that Future concert a long time ago.
Nokia.
That's a good song. Drake, kind of a comeback song. The rest of the album, not very good, right?
The rest of the album is ridiculously good. I got a little bit of Lucky. I also listened to a lot of Morgan Wallen and Bailey Zimmerman. I got some country in it, and if I'm running, I'll do a little EDM, but usually that. If I'm running, I'll do old school pop. I'll do Chainsmokers, Closer. I'll do Madonna. What's that song called? It's crap. I listen to it all the time. And everybody at Run Club looks at me like, what the hell's going on? Like a Prayer by Madonna. I'll have that with Closer. And then I'll have some Maroon 5. And I'm just pulling 7-minute miles like no other.
Hey, there we go. We got a loaded pod today to get into the baseball. We had some huge news with some Hall of Famers, potential Hall of Famers. We had a really good Yankees series, a couple late night games, afternoon game today. Go ahead.
Potential Hall of Famers? What are we talking about? Why don't we just get right into that? The listeners know the rundown. If it was a normal episode, the listeners would know that I would be talking right now, explaining what happened this week. But it is a special episode. You will explain the biggest news of the week that's happened.
Yeah.
It needs to be talked about because it is causing a stir within the sports community and within the community of the world.
Yeah, truthfully, I think it's some of the biggest off the field news we've had since maybe like the Ohtani gambling scandal last year. This is, I mean, huge news. It's something that's been a saga, an issue, a story, whatever, for decades and decades now. I mean, over 100 years, if you want to really get into it. But yesterday, on Tuesday, Rob Manfred, Commissioner of Baseball, removed Pete Rose, Shoeless, Joe Jackson, and other deceased players from MLB's permanently ineligible list. Manfred ruled the MLB's punishment of banned individuals ends upon their deaths. So Pete Rose died last fall. Shoeless Joe Jackson has been dead for decades. Manfred said, quote, "Obviously, a person no longer with us cannot represent a threat to the integrity of the game." He wrote this in a letter to Pete Rose's attorney, Jeffrey Lenkov, who petitioned for Rose's removal from the list on January 8th. Manfred continues, "Moreover, it is hard to conceive of a penalty that has more deterrent effect than one that lasts a lifetime with no reprieve." Rose accepted a ban from then Commissioner A. Bartlett Giamatti in August 1989, following an MLB investigation that determined Rose had bet on games while managing the Reds. And then Shoeless Joe Jackson, him and 7 other White Sox players were banned from playing professional baseball in 1921 by MLB's first commissioner, Kennesaw Mountain Landis, for fixing the 1919 World Series. Now, it is important to note that despite accepting $5,000, which is $92,000 in today's currency, he took $5,000 from Gambler's Cash to throw the 1919 World Series. In that series, Jackson still batted .375 and did not make an error. He also hit the series' only home run. The other players involved in the scandal tanked the series a little bit more. There's no proof that Shoeless Joe Jackson negatively performed on purpose in the games. And then if you want to talk about the Hall of Fame piece of it, the earliest Rose or Jackson could be enshrined is 2028. If they are elected, they would be considered by a historical overview committee, which will develop 8 names for the baseball era committee. Then Rose and Jackson would need 12 out of 16 votes to win induction from that committee. And that committee doesn't meet until December 2027. So we got some time. That's the rundown. That is obviously the huge news in baseball this week. Luis, what is your opinion on this whole thing?
My opinion is it's long overdue. I am in the new school boat that I think, for example, I think Barry Bonds should be inducted. I think A-Rod should be. The steroid era guys should be inducted because you and me could go take steroids, but doesn't mean that I'm going to hit 350 and hit 70 home runs in a season. Like, steroids don't correlate. Like, I just, looking into statistics, like, what is the definition of a correlation, William?
If one data point is tied to another data point, essentially.
Correct. It's to describe the relationship between variables. And our variables that are commonly put under review is steroid, which is our variable that we are controlling, and we're testing the independent variable, which is the variable that is going to change, is performance. So if you took steroids in high school, does that mean you're going to hit 400 and get recruited to go to Vandy on a full ride scholarship?
Definitely not. No.
It is more to the game of baseball than using performance-enhancing just substances. There's probably performance-enhancing substances that are being taken right now that are legal that not many players know. And, it's all with the price of, the Benjamin Franklins, the Ben Franks. If you have Ben Franks, you could get a lab and you can make a diet or make some sort of like cocktail, and then not cocktail in the alcoholic preface, but a cocktail for performance and taking natural substances to increase athletic performance. So in the case of Pete Rose, like, yes, he did bet, but the talent on this guy, the hit king, he 100% should be in. Like, this guy, is probably the biggest name in, not in the Hall of Fame. It's kind of like when you play MLB The Show, who does everybody want to play on MLB The Show? They want to play A-Rod and Barry Bonds, the 2 biggest guys. You got to get them in the Hall. But knowing how the committee is, how the Hall is, like there's I don't want to call them old heads, but like I don't feel like it depends who they have on that committee to allow them in. Just think about it.
Yeah.
It could be sour people and not letting them in. Like already, we don't have the steroid guys in. So if the steroid guys aren't in, what makes them think that Pete Rose will make it in, even though because he like bet on games and all his allegations that we don't have to get into his Pete Rose character analysis today.
And that's a question that I think you can raise is, do these Hall of Fame committees, the writers, and then this historical oversight committee, is it their job to judge players' characters or their skills? And the answer is their skills.
That should be the Hall of Fame, but it clearly, like the precedent that's been set is that we are grading character. Because if Barry Bonds isn't in and guys like that aren't in the Hall, like Andy Pettitte isn't in. And I think Andy Pettitte needs to be in because of the impact he made on those great Yankee teams.
Yeah. I mean, I go back and forth on this, and I hate to say it, but I can see both sides of the argument. Talent, pure talent, Pete Rose, it's not a debate. He's a Hall of Famer. Same with Shoeless Joe Jackson. Shoeless Joe Jackson was a career 356 hitter, and with a 940 OPS. He was a really good player in his day too, one of the best. And then on the other side, Pete Rose did bet on games. Now, you could say, hey, he was a manager and he only bet on his team to win those games. He only bet on his team to win those games. But I was listening to MLB Tonight yesterday with Bob Costas, who, gets some shtick now for his commentating on games. But I do think he is a really good baseball historian. That's one thing we know for sure. He knows his history. And he was talking about the whole Pete Rose thing, and he was saying, true, he only bet on games that he only bet on his team to win in games that were playing, but he did not bet on every single game. He also, if he had a huge amount of money and really needed to win on a certain game, maybe he managed those games differently. Maybe he went to the bullpen earlier than he needed to, and that affects the whole course of a 162 game season. I thought that was an interesting point. If he doesn't bet on a game, is he saying that he doesn't trust that starting pitcher that night by not betting on him? I think that's an interesting point too. And then with the Shoeless Joe Jackson thing, I mean, he actively took money from gamblers to lose the World Series. Again, his performance, he didn't not try in that series. There's no evidence of that, but he did take money to lose that series. I just think that is a direct violation of everything sports should stand for. There's a lot of corruption in early 1900s baseball. That's not just Shoeless Joe Jackson that you can go and read about.
But my point is that we get into is just like, why are we judging character? Because there's guys that are in the Hall of Fame that, have notoriously questionable characters, tales of notorious character.
Ty Cobb, one of them, for sure. There's tons.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like, are we going to do that? I think we should just grade for who they were as players and their contributions to the game of baseball.
I'm with you. I understand that, but I think the Shoeless, you can make an argument, I think, stronger for Pete Rose than you can Shoeless Joe Jackson. And then with the steroid era guys, again, like the talent, of course, it's no debate. Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, they're Hall of Famers. But they did cheat, and not everyone in that era was taking steroids. It kind of goes against the brotherhood of Major League Baseball. It's in the rule book not to take steroids, so it's not necessarily fair to the other guys that aren't taking steroids. But then again, you have the argument that the Hall of Fame is a museum. It has no formal ties to Major League Baseball. Obviously, there's a strong relationship there, but it is not owned by Major League Baseball. Its job is solely to tell the history of baseball. Can you tell the story of baseball without these guys like Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez, Pete Rose? No, you can't. I can see that argument too. It's hard for me to really have a firm, strong take because I do see both sides of this, but I would lean. I don't think Shoeless Joe Jackson should be in the Hall of Fame because of what he did. And Pete Rose is borderline. I mean, in terms of on the field talent, it's not a debate. But when you get into the gambling and now gambling is even more pervasive in our society, and we got gambling ads all over the place, and we got broadcasts doing like FanDuel parlays. We have whole TV networks, FanDuel Sports Network. The Cardinals and a lot of these teams' broadcasting stations are FanDuel Sportsbook Network, whatever. I think that causes, and we've seen some things like Jonte Porter with in the NBA. There was I think some guy in the Padres. To Peter Marcano. Yeah, good pull. I don't know. It's It's tough, but this is a huge development. I think, and we don't get into politics on this podcast, but I do think it is important to note that President Trump, when he was elected in the fall, he did push. I have no idea why, but he did push for Rose's reinstatement into the Hall of Fame, or into baseball, excuse me. Petitioned for him to be a Hall of Famer. Manfred went to the Oval Office on April 16th and met with Trump, and then today, or on Tuesday, he called Trump while he was in the Middle East about this ruling. So I do think there is certainly a connection there. I have no idea why he wants Pete Rose reinstated, but Manfred, he's got some business things coming up. When you look at the TV rights deals and everything that he needs to get settled down, I think he wants to be in the good graces of the powers that be. And I think something was worked out behind the scenes for these guys.
Hey, all I'll say is this. If the NBA can rig a draft lottery, allegedly,
if you have to explain the process the way the NBA draft lottery does every single year, it's a little suspicious. And I don't know if you saw the video. They posted the video of the actual lottery happening, and that's cool. But there was still someone off camera that was like, so the guy, for those that didn't see, the guy had we could see the ball and the ping pong balls bouncing around in the box, whatever. And then someone from off screen would call out when he should pick a ball out. He picks the ball out. It says like 4 or something. And then someone off screen also says Mavericks. And I know there's a bunch of people in the room. To me, I don't think that proves that it's not rigged. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, generally speaking. You know me. I think the JFK assassination was just Lee Harvey Oswald, and that's like the number one conspiracy theory out there that people buy into. I do think the NBA draft lottery, it's pretty damn suspicious. And you're a Cavaliers fan, or you were. I don't know if you still are. And they got back-to-back number 1 picks or whatever, so LeBron could come back. That was rigged. When they got LeBron in 2003, that was rigged. Like Patrick Ewing, rigged.
Who was the first person calling out the rigged? You remember when I was in high school, I was saying this is rigged. And all of now coming to it. But hey, this is a baseball podcast. Good. You said it best when it comes down to Shoeless Joe and Pete Rose. But I think we got to get to what the listeners got to listen to. It's been 17 minutes and 27 seconds. It's time to talk about the week that was for the Yankees. This is week 7, I think. I don't know.
Almost week 7. Yeah, almost week 7.
Tomorrow
is Thursday, week 7. Yeah, that's crazy. It's already been 7 weeks, by the way.
7 weeks. I mean, hey, let's talk about it. Yankees went up to Seattle after winning the series against the Athletics in Sacramento. The Yankees had a 3-game set that ended today down up in Seattle at T-Mobile Park. On Monday night, while William was asleep deep in REM sleep, according to his whoop, the Yankees won 11-5. Clark Schmidt was solid, dealt with some traffic, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned, 6 strikeouts, but the Yankees went off. When I mean went off, they went off. Trent Grisham 2-homer night. We had the Anthony Volpe 2-run blast in the 9th. And then, with every great win, there had to be a big negative, which dampened the mood of the night. Oswaldo Cabrera did unfortunately suffer a gruesome injury in the top of the 9th inning, where he was running home from a sac fly from third, and he ended up sliding and ended up fracturing his ankle. Oswaldo did fly back recently to New York, and they are determining what surgery and treatment plan as to what is next. Very hard situation, as most of you know. I am a big Oswaldo Cabrera fan. If you've been listening to this podcast since last year, I infamously told William that Oswaldo Cabrera would have a better season than Jorge Polanco last year, and indeed he did. Oswaldo is just one of the guys that just does everything right. As you can tell that, Trent Grisham in his post-game interview with Yes shed a tear. Aaron Judge definitely took a 2-minute portion of his media availability just to talk about the person that is Oswaldo as a teammate and as a member of the Yankee family. Just very sad situation because, Oswaldo finally broke out, got the opportunity to take the starting third base role this year after being a utility man for the team most part. And he just looks like a guy that's just very humble and just plays the game the right way, always has a smile, and, like very serviceable member of the team. And his loss will definitely hurt for the team, as we will talk about soon. It is just a very, very sad situation, as it does not look like he will be back this season, unfortunately.
Yeah, fractured ankles, probably not. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very sad situation with Oswaldo. We'll talk about that more in a little later. I mean, shout out the Mariners fans for just being a class act. A group of fans found Oswaldo's were asked Yankee community if Oswaldo had any charitable foundations or any charities that he supported, and they donated all into the Covenant House, which helps young and youth and young families facing homelessness and trafficking in 6 countries across North and Central America, in which Oswaldo has been or more commonly known by Yankee fans, Waldo, had been working with and pictured with at many community events. So shout out to Mariners fans for doing that. But as we continue, Tuesday night, last night, the Mariners won 2-1 in the 11th inning, which we will talk about. There's notes to talk about that game. Again, the Yankees fought back last night in the 9th. DJ LeMahieu came off the IL last night and gave a pinch hit appearance. Yankees went 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position, which is the worst since July 6, 1990 against Minnesota, where they also went 0 for 14. And then today, the Yankees won 3-2. Will Warren, West Coast Will Warren. Let's talk about it.
West Coast Will Warren.
West Coast Will Warren. We're gonna get that going. West Coast Will Warren was electric today. Strikeout 9 today, 9-5 today again.
Yeah, 9-5.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, Will Warren needs to start Dodger Stadium and in the Angels Stadium. He needs to ride the juju. I mean, he has single-handedly saved his rotation role till reinforcements come, and single-handedly boosted his stocks. Goldie with a pinch hit homer, and then Judge came in the 9th in the 8th with a go-ahead home run.
Yes.
We were closing it down. William, where do we want to start this week? We want to get the Waldo thing out of the way, because I think that's the biggest takeaway of the week that we need to discuss.
Yeah, it puts a damper on another series win, 3rd straight series win. You can see how loved he is in that clubhouse by the reaction. I mean, you had Boone crying after the game. You had Grisham crying after the game. Like, it was a really ugly injury. And, like you said, he's probably not going to be back this year. It brings up an interesting question now, though, because he was actually producing, the full season numbers aren't breathtaking by any stretch of the imagination, but he was, I think he was a serviceable third baseman, and he probably would have been the dude for the whole season. Now, I mean, he hit 282 in April, which is pretty solid for, probably one of the worst bats in your lineup, with all due respect.
Hey, don't put some smut on his name. You know I'm an Oswaldo defender. You remember what I said last year. We need to roll back the tapes. I said it at first. I said he would have a better season than Jorge Polanco. What happened?
He did have a better season than Jorge Polanco. It was, 2 not amazing seasons. But anyway, it now opens up an interesting situation of what do they do at third base? Because you have DJ back, and he's probably going to be your second baseman. I think Oswald Peraza plays a pretty good defensive third base. He made a couple plays last night that were impressive, made a couple good plays today. But he's probably not going to have the bat. And the bat's really going to bring us down in that lineup, especially if DJ isn't producing. You have 7, 8, 9 there that there are some major question marks. You had it was DJ, Escara, and Vivas. Sorry, Vivas played third today, not Peraza. I thought he made some decent plays. And Peraza made some good plays last night. It's a revolving door at third base. And when Jazz comes back, is it going to be Jazz at third again? I don't want, Jazz played well at third base last year, and he certainly earned his keep there. He's a versatile player. The Yankees have a versatile team now, which is kind of foreign to us. But I don't think they're going to want to put DJ at third. I think he's going to stay at second. So it's now an interesting question of what do we do at third base?
What I think, and this is something that I wanted to text you yesterday, because on my drive home from work, I was literally thinking, okay, where can the Yankees go with this? Let's look at our internal options. Because, right now, if you look at the Yankees wish list right now, what is our wish list? Our wish list is starting pitcher, starting pitcher 3 for the playoffs, which right now we don't know. It could be Schmidt. It could be Heald. We don't know. But you would want some type of competition to come in externally to come in and potentially push a Schmidt or a Heald. And the thing is, we don't know if what Heald will look like in June. It's looking like he'll be back in June, maybe.
Yeah.
So we don't know what it's going to look like. So then that's number one on the wish. That's on the wish list. Right-handed third base bat is now, or infield bat, how that has now gone up the order of priorities.
Yeah.
Then left-handed reliever. I mean, that's something we're going to talk about. I want to talk about Tim Hill. Tim Hill has not looked good in the past 2 weeks.
Yep.
It may be time to look externally or look internally to see who can rise up in the bullpen. But I mean, that's more of a minuscule issue because you have a lot of arms coming up, getting healthy. You have Scott Efros, Clayton Beater, and you have Jake Cousins all coming back eventually, and Jonathan Loaizaga. So guys like Ian Hamilton, Tim Hill are now pitching for their jobs for the next 2 to 3 weeks. Do we agree with that?
Yeah, Ian Hamilton was strong today. Tim Hill has not been good. His last outing on yesterday, he obviously gave up the back-to-back singles. No earned runs in that game, but because of the ghost runner. But yeah, he did kind of end it there in the 11th. And then against Seattle on the 12th, had 2 earned runs in 2/3 innings pitched. And then also gave up a run in that San Diego game on the 6th that we probably should have won. So yeah, he's got a 6.75 ERA in the month of May compared to a 3.55, in April. He has not been looking good. Totally agree with you there. I think Ryan Yarbrough has been good, but it's kind of more of a long relief guy. Yeah, like is he going to be your high leverage 1 or 2 outs guy? I don't know, because he doesn't really have the stuff to do that. He more so has the stuff to kind of throw guys off in terms of timing because he throws so slow, like in the 80s. But I don't know if he's like, your insane stuff, come in and get 1 out type guy.
So let me just ask you, is my wish list that I've compiled for the Yankees accurate for your perspective? Yes or no?
Yeah, I think it is. And
okay.
I think a sleeper one that won't happen is catcher. They're not going to move on from Wells this year. Maybe that's more of an offseason thing. But I do think
you want to hear a hot take?
Sure.
This Waldo injury, who's becomes close to like indispensable now on the team right now? Like whose roster spot is now pretty safe throughout the year?
It's a hitter? Infielder?
It's a hitter.
DJ?
Escara. I think Escara's place in the lineup and on the roster is now safe because Escara's your backup catcher. But say you don't, say a Peraza or another injury happens in the outfield, you're now down to 4 outfielders. Escara can, in a pinch, play you third. And Boone has already shown this year that, he does feel some sort of confidence with playing Escara at third base. So I feel like as a defensive option at catcher and now third in a pinch, I think he's now one of the guys that, that you might think Yankee fans, they can move on when people start getting healthy. But now I kind of think like their hands getting pushed and him being safe, because then Rice can give you some DH and some catching help when Stanton comes back. So now I think Escara can be your third base maybe.
It's an interesting point. I think quietly, the Yankees have a lot of guys in the lineup that are like producing or that have certain roster spots. And it's like, okay, what do you do? Like, what do you do when Stanton comes back? What do you do when Jazz comes back? Because, we talk all the time. They kind of have 4 outfielders with Grisham, Belly, Judge, and now Dominguez is heating up. He had a great West Coast swing. So it's almost like they kind of have a surplus to requirements in the lineup right now, and all the offensive stats team-wise are really good. Dominguez has a 965 OPS in the month of May, by the way, really strong. I think with the surplus to requirements, they kind of do have more trade assets than they have had in the past. I don't know what that means for the trade deadline, but they do have the opportunity if they want to improve the areas that they need to. Like Jason Dominguez, his trade value is, I don't think they're going to trade him. I know we brought that up in the past, but his trade value would be astronomical, I think, at this point.
But you know what I think now? I kind of think like, okay, you want a pitcher so badly, but like I've made this comment, I think, on recent podcasts, and I've put it in chat. What do you think a price for like an Eric Fetty is going to be at the deadline? With the amount of teams that are going to need pitching, what is the price going to be for just like an above average starting pitcher? Like Sandy Alcantara's location stuff, like location plus hasn't been great. Like his stuff's been great through like the metrics, but his location's not great. What do you think his trade value is going to be in July? Like you're probably going to have to package 3 top 10 guys. And that's a very rich price for a dude just coming off a TJ.
Yeah.
And so I think you look externally infield, and here's some guys I thought about. Obviously, people think about Ryan McMahon with Colorado, but I don't think it's going to happen because if you look at the contract, there's way too much money tied up, and the way they're moving up Lombard, I think Lombard, is going to be here in a year and a half, ideally, if everything all goes well. So you have him.
And I on that, I would like to say that the Rockies they don't do anything right. It would be smart to move Ryan McMahon, who's, he's making $16 million in 26 and in 27 each year. That is more money than I thought he was making. The Rockies aren't going to trade him. They don't do anything right.
But what if, like, with this firing of the manager, and not saying that it's going to happen, I just don't think it makes financial sense with the Yankees.
I agree. I wouldn't want to have that contract on the books.
Okay, so he's out of the question. That's what I'm saying. So then, we all talk about Nolan Arenado. The Cardinals are white hot. I know Alden's probably, having the time of his life right now with how hot the Cardinals are. They finally lost today, but still, like, will the Cardinals buy or just be one of those teams that's just going to like, all right, we're just going to chill at the deadline and see where this roster takes us. And then in the offseason, we'll blow it up.
Right.
That could happen. And that's what I think is going to happen with the Cardinals because they're going to stay like that. You then look at the teams that are.
Wait. Can I say on the Cardinals? I do think the Cardinals being good through July would really throw a wrench in the trade deadline because they got a lot of dudes that teams are going to want.
Who in the Cardinals do you want?
Arenado, Fetty, Gray. Those are 3 that come to mind. Ryan Helsley, 4.
Sonny Gray, I think, has a no trade clause. So I don't think he's going to get moving so much money tied up. That's 1. Arenado has also a no trade clause, which you also limit the teams that he can go to. Are the Angels going to come up and buy Nolan Arenado? No. Okay.
No, of course not.
Okay. And then are the Dodgers? The Dodgers have so many rotation injuries that I think they're going to go get rotation help. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking for rotation help in July, rotation and bullpen. They'll probably move for Helsley because of just contractually, but like, that's what I'm saying. The Yankees need to go get a right-handed bat, and I have the bat in mind right now.
Who is it?
I know we all like Austin Riley because of the Braves, current struggles as we talked about. But let's look at the teams that are bad right now. Willie, who do you expect to be bad in July? Like out of the current teams right now that you look at?
Chicago, Pittsburgh, Colorado, Baltimore, Cincinnati, probably. Maybe Atlanta, Washington's going to be bad. Miami, potentially Houston, Angels, maybe the Brewers. Yeah, those are kind of the top ones.
You lifted 4 teams with 4 viable for third baseman.
Rays, Blue Jays.
No, they're not. We're not. I immediately take out in division because it's not going to happen. The price is going to be way too high. The Rays are never going to do it. And, the Blue Jays won't do it. Okay?
Okay.
Then you look at the Braves. Austin Riley, that's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
Okay. Colorado, we already said Ryan McMahon. We already said the deal with him.
He ain't getting traded.
He ain't getting traded. And the other team you said Cincinnati, Heimer Candelario, Spencer Steer. You don't want that.
I don't think I want any of their bats, to be honest, except Ellie.
Heimer Candelario is owed $15 million. Key Brian Hayes also do a lot of money. You know who is a nice little pull hitter with some AL East experience? nice, affordable contract.
Isaac Paredes.
Isaac Paredes.
I said Houston.
I know. I was getting there. Isaac Paredes. Isaac Paredes just hit a walk-off last night.
He did.
He's on a 1-year, $6.6 million contract with 2 years of arbitration left. Say Houston falls out of the mix. You call up Houston, you give them a couple prospects. Their farm's not that great. And you get them that Yankee Stadium at third base, pulling that ball to right field. What do you think?
Makes a lot of sense.
I've been pushing the Isaac Paredes to the Yankees for the past 2 years. Like, I think it makes no sense. I don't know if from the glove department, if he fits the whole glove compartment that the Yankees are looking for. But I mean, at this point, with what you're going to be trotting out at third base between Yorbit Vivas, Oswaldo Peraza, Pablo Reyes, I think Isaac Paredes makes sense. And he does have some positional versatility.
The only downsides on him, as you mentioned, the glove and a negative runner. But you talked about it with Arenado. Do the Yankees want another negative runner in their lineup?
He's 26, though. He is 26. That's also the crazy thing about it. And he's only due $6 million.
Well, we know what they're going to do. It's going to be Jazz at third and DJ at second.
No, but you're totally discounting this whole Isaac Paredes thing. Like, I think it's a total.
I'm not discounting. I do think it makes a lot of sense.
I think it's a total fit. I think Jazz is going to want to play second base. I think if just in general, I think if you were going to go get a second baseman, you could have gotten in the offseason. I don't think that's going to happen. I think they view Jazz as a second baseman.
I hope so.
They don't want to screw that up. So you need a third baseman. So go get Isaac Paredes from the Astros. Go give him a couple of prospects and let's make it happen. Let's roll. You put Isaac Paredes right behind Aaron Judge or right behind Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, if you guys are watching on the YouTube, I don't know what he just did with his mouth.
You are so down on Isaac Paredes.
I'm not down. How am I not? I'm just saying.
You're not excited. You're more excited into a Nolan Arenado who's over 30.
No. I don't think I really want Arenado at this point.
But Isaac Paredes, man, I've been pushing the train. He has AL East experience too.
He does. The Yankees got to figure out where they want to hit Cody Bellinger, or Cody Bellinger needs to figure out if he wants to hit the ball this year. The last times Cody Bellinger has been in the lineup, here's the positioning he's been in: 5th, 1st, 3rd, 5th, 4th, 5th, off day, 4th, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 4th. Like, can we get a slot for this guy? Can we figure out and swap and Judge between 2nd and 3rd? I know it's obviously making no difference on his performance, but like, can we pick a spot for him too?
Can we get some guys that get in base in front of him? That's what I'm saying. Get some Isaac Paredes in that lineup.
Trent Grisham's been incredible. I think that's maybe something we need to talk about too. Had a 2-homer night on Monday.
Substack. That's a Substack article. Talk about how his stance has been opened up. That's a future Substack coming down the way.
Should have been a home run today. Great play by Julio. I mean, his Savant page is crazy. It's all red. I mean, 12 home runs for Trent Grisham. 12? 995 OPS. What? I mean, no one. This is crazy. He's been better than Juan Soto statistically this year.
Did the Padres lose another trade? We talked about it. You said, I can imagine the Padres with Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, and Robert Hassel. Imagine, would the Padres be better off with Trent Grisham and Juan Soto than Michael King and Yoni Brito?
I mean, he was so bad last year. I mean, now I will say he probably should have been starting over Verdugo.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the other 2 games. Last night was frustrating.
We talked about Tim Hill. I mean, last night they couldn't hit. I mean, you're going to have those nights after, hitting the cover off the baseball all weekend in Sacramento and hitting the ball really well the night before. You're going to have those games. And T-Mobile is not an easy park.
We didn't. We didn't talk about Fried's start though.
I mean,
he struggled. 5 innings, 1 earned run. The stats look good. 5 strikeouts, but season low in pitches, 91. It's the first game the Yankees have lost that he started this year. But his 1.11 ERA is the lowest by a Yankee starter through his first 9 starts ever of the season. So impressive. But Yankees couldn't get to Brian Wu. 6 strikeouts and 6 1/3.
You won the series. Yeah.
Today's game was really good. The team showed a lot of fight.
You won the series. They had showed a lot of fight last night. I mean, this should be, right now I'm a little hurt because you're not on the Isaac. You're not fully on the Isaac Paredes train like I am. Like I am like full steam aboard on the Isaac hype train. Like I am the conductor. Get on the, get on the train, get on the hype train because we're about to take off. Like this is gonna be like Dogecoin. We're gonna go all the way up like a Bitcoin, all the way up to the moon, like Dogecoin to the moon, GMS to the moon, like GameStop stocks. That's a tongue twister. The Isaac Paredes Yankees train is gonna go all the way up, and we're gonna be like Roaring Kitty real soon. Just wait. Just wait till it happens. I said Jazz on the Yankees a couple of years ago. Just wait till we get Isaac Paredes. Isaac Paredes on the Yankees. Get a fellow Mexican on the Yankees. And just imagine how the jersey sales are going to do in Mexico with Isaac Paredes on the Yankees.
Is he? I didn't know he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Wow. Whoa, golly. Who was the last Yankee, like the last Mexican Yankee player that was?
Last Mexican Yankee player. Probably
it's been a while, I feel like. Is that something that's easily accessible on the internet?
It is. It was Victor Gonzalez who was released last year, the day after my birthday.
Mm.
Oh, Alex Verdugo counts.
Oh yeah, duh.
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 But yeah, the Isaac Paredes train. I don't know. Because just before we close the topic, grade the week.
This series, 7. 8. 7, closer to 6 because of the Oswaldo injury. That was a bummer. But in terms of on-field product, 7, closer to 8. Maybe an 8.
Now, before I preview the next series, just tell me of a viable third base option that's probably better than Isaac Paredes.
You're really all in on the Isaac Paredes train. Let's see. Pending free agents, third base.
You see, there's none.
There's none. None realistic. None realistic.
That's what I'm saying. The Isaac Paredes train. You call up Houston, and you just be like, yo, let's, we understand you guys beat on some, y'all beat on some trash cans. Y'all were, you had some buzzers, but hey, let's get you back to the promised land.
He's got 2 years of arbitration after this year.
Yeah, it's not that cheap. It's pretty cheap. Not like you're spending money on Ke'Bryan Hayes to hit 230, 240 in Pittsburgh.
Play damn good defense.
Yeah, damn good defense, but I think the Yankees need more offense right now.
Yeah.
If you would admit, and you need somebody to stay healthy. But regardless, we've been talking too much about Isaac Paredes in the Mariners series.
Who did the Yankees play this weekend? It
is rivalry weekend.
Kansas City, or it's got a ho-hum series against the White Sox? Is there anything going on in the Bronx this weekend?
It is the Subway series. I am so hyped. I am low-key mad that you do not want to go Saturday and hop on a train with Armand. Like all of us just go infiltrate right field.
I would go on Saturday. I thought you were talking about Friday. I would go on Saturday.
You get on train to go to Saturday to the Yankee Stadium?
Sure. I don't think Armand Kayla would buy in, but
what do you mean? It is the biggest series on the MLB calendar so far. Yankees are facing the Mets. The return of Juan Soto to the Bronx. The probables are out. I see a Yankees sweep this weekend. And I will say it with chest. The Yankees will sweep the Mets. I will say it. The probables are the following. The Yankees are going to be putting out on Friday Carlos Rodon, #1 strikeout king in baseball. Carlos Rodon is my best friend this weekend. And no, I am completely sober right now. As you guys may think I'm a little bit woozy, but I am completely sober. But I got Carlos Rodon this weekend. Who does he face? I want to be correct. I thought it was going to be Griffin Canning, but it's not Griffin Canning. It is Tyler Meagle. Then on Saturday, it is Clark Schmidt. The Clark Schmidt Defense League is coming out. The Clark Schmidt Defense League is coming out, okay? It is the Clark Schmidt versus Griffin Canning start, okay? And then after David Peterson, Max Fried. The Fried and Meagles, the Fried and Rodon starts are locked. And then Clark Schmidt's going to have the sweeper and the knuckle. He's going to have the knuckle curve, just buckling Juan Soto on a 3-2 count in the third inning.
Sweep. You're predicting sweep. I feel like Juan Soto is going to hit 3 home runs in the series. I feel like he's going to thrive in this situation. I will say, Yankee fans, don't do anything stupid. Don't make the fan base look bad. Please keep it civil. It's gonna be ugly. Just you can boo. I saw Talking Yanks. They had an interesting week on Twitter. I'll say that. We don't need to go into detail, but they had some weird ass tweet about Aaron Judge. They got good content. I'll give them credit. Not, but that tweet was weird. They were talking about how we should chant "We have Grisham" instead of like "Fu Soto." I'm like, nah. I get Grisham's been good, but still not a huge Juan Soto fan. I think we should absolutely boo him and let him hear it. So just keep it civil. Just keep it to boos. That's perfectly fine.
Do you think he plays right field?
And I saw that question. I think he will play right field. I would be shocked if they said, we're going to DH him. That would be a soft move.
I'm telling you, Yankees sweep. You don't think what is your prediction? Not a sweep?
Yankees win 2 out of 3. We got our best 2 pitchers on the mound in the series.
Who is going to hit in that Mets lineup other than Pete Alonso and Juan Soto and Francisco Lindor?
Well, apparently Brett Beatty.
Brett who? Brett Beatty. Who?
He's been on fire.
Brett Beatty, freaking Brett Brady, Jeff McNeil, Francisco Lindor, Yankees in 3.
Yeah, okay. NYM, I don't know. You know how the OKC, KFC, UFC.
Yeah.
I don't know one for the Mets.
NYM, MGM, TFM,
MSG. I don't know.
Yankees in 3. TFM Fresh Market. Let's get it. I mean, we just looked really cringe there, but hey, Yankees in 3. Yankees are sweeping this weekend. Tomorrow the city's gonna be on fire because the Knicks are going to the finals. Like it's over with.
That game's happening right now. Also, I looked it up. The train from Boston to New York is basically like 4 hours.
What do you mean 4 hours? We'll find a way to get to. We'll find a way to get to the Bronx. We'll hitchhike.
Would you rather go to Yankee? Okay, that's a stupid question.
What would you say? What are you gonna say?
We could see Friday night. It could be Knicks Celtics game 6.
Yeah, but that ticket's gonna be like $2,000.
I know we'd have to spend like $2,000.
You want me to spend like a quarter of my bank account?
I'll pass.
You want me to spend like my rent in Miami? My like rent. Like where am I gonna live next month? Like how did you do that? But regardless, we got a little off topic there. We got ahead of ourselves. It's just the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm coming out.
I am really excited for this series this weekend. I know we're going to the Boston game on Friday night. I'm probably going to have the Yankee game on my phone while we're there. And then we got to find a place to watch it on Saturday. And then Sunday we'll be flying back home. But yeah, it's the biggest series of the year so far. Before we get into like the playoff stuff down the stretch, like some of those Boston series, I'm sure will be huge. But it's the Juan Soto return. We've been waiting for it.
Is there any bigger rivalry right now in baseball that comes close right now?
I love the Padres-Dodgers rivalry.
But is that pretty dead?
No, they've played a bunch in the playoffs. Those fan bases hate each other. I know it's just West Coast, so maybe we're a little bit removed from it, but I really do enjoy that series.
Maybe, but I don't know. You don't have aura. Like you don't understand.
They have aura at the Dodgers.
You don't understand that this weekend what's going to happen. You imagine that Juan Soto strikes out on AB number 1. You don't imagine how rocking that stadium's going to get. Like it's going to be a playoff World Series atmosphere at 161 in the Bronx. Like it's going to be the freaking game 5 atmosphere. I can't, man. I was like, what's rivalry weekend? Let's go through some of these series this weekend. Like rivalry weekend MLB. Some of these series just suck. I'm gonna just be honest. Like these are just MLB. Get your crap together. Astros, Rangers. The Rangers are gonna be a belt to ass situation. White Sox, Cubs. If the Cubs don't get a position player for the White Sox at 225, if the White Sox don't have Miguel Vargas or Luis Sosa throwing a pitch by 4:00 Eastern time on Friday, like that series has gone left. Guardians, Reds happens every year. Guardians always win. You know, it's really who cares. It's like Browns and Bengals. Oh, you want like nobody cares outside of the state of Ohio.
Yeah, I do like that series though. It's a
William, stop. You hate on Ohio. Like nobody outside of the state of Ohio cares about Bengals, Browns, or Guardians and Reds. You know, it is just something that they fight over. It's like they fight over at Thanksgiving and nobody cares about. Like let's keep it moving.
okay.
Pirates at Phillies, the poop series. We all know the Phillies are going to belt the ass again. Nationals, Orioles, the future Holiday brothers. When Ethan Holiday gets drafted by the Nationals, cool. Nationals are going to probably win the series because the Orioles can't pitch. Tigers, Blue Jays. Are we really doing the Ambassador Bridge battle? Like I didn't know that was a big like thing. The Ambassador Bridge. Like, have you talked to your mom about the Ambassador Bridge battle between Detroit and Toronto?
Well, yeah, I lived in Ann Arbor for a little bit after college because of my job, so I know all about the Ambassador Bridge. So they are pretty close, those two teams. It's not like a heated rivalry or anything, though.
No, come on, like let's stop. Braves, Red Sox, cool.
I mean, we'll be there.
Rays, Marlins. That's your, MLB After Dark 2 a.m. series that you just have on the background. Like nobody cares about that one. Like if both teams cease to exist tomorrow, I don't think MLB would feel a difference. That's how irrelevant both teams are right now.
You're ripping on 3/4 of the league here.
Cardinals at Royals. I like a central block battle.
I didn't know that was a rivalry. I know they're really close geographically, but
it's like the Battle of Ohio, the Battle of Missouri, the I-70 battle, highway series. Like we really Twins at Brewers. We're literally doing Vikings versus the Packers. Do we really care about that in baseball? No, not so much.
I had no idea that was a rivalry.
Yeah, they met in 19. Yeah, cool. And then Rockies at D-backs. Really, the Rocky Mountain Showdown is what they're calling it. My God, like
that's a manufactured rivalry.
Mariners at Padres. Oh, great. The Vetter Cup, the Pearl Jam battle. Do you think people know anything about Pearl Jam in 2025 unless you're into rock music? No.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know Pearl Jam until I played Guitar Hero 3 and I crushed Even Flow.
Yeah, exactly.
Angels, Dodgers, the Ohtani battle. We know what's going to happen. Giants, A's. It's lost its luster because the A's are now Sacramento and it doesn't matter. So congratulations, MLB. You have literally made a terrible rivalry weekend. Like,
well, there's only so many rivalry series that exist.
You don't have to manufacture rivalries. Like it's like a huge gimmick, like childhood gimmick. Like you don't have to. Like it's like forcing somebody to pick a rival when you don't have a rival. Like it's forcing Colorado into a rivalry. Does Colorado have any rivals? No.
No, they're not good enough to have a rivalry.
Does Tampa have any rivals? No. It's literally forcing rivalries that don't exist.
The Yankees and Rays had a mini rivalry there for a little bit.
But it's not like a rivalry like Yankees-Red Sox, Yankees-Mets, Giants, Dodgers-Angels. Like that's
Cardinals-Cubs.
Yes. Why don't we have Cardinals-Cubs? Why?
The Chicago battle is pretty good. Those games I've been in person. Like those games are fun to go to. But yeah, people outside of Chicago don't really care. I feel like they care more about Cubs-Cards. Cubs-Cards is a good rivalry. But
it's like interleague. Like I'm just saying, it's such a forced gimmick. Like it's so forced. Like
Yankees-Red Sox is a bigger rivalry than Yankees-Mets, but it's been dormant for a while. I do think it'll be back this year.
There's two rivalries, but it's two viable rivalries.
Like it should. I don't understand why the Padres have to play the Angels. It should have been Dodgers-Padres, and then the Angels just throw them to Seattle and make that a rivalry.
Well, Dodgers-Angels has been a series. That's the Freeway series. That's been happening. The Dodgers-Padres is something newer. You should have just done Padres and Giants.
Yeah, Padres and Giants.
I just don't understand it. Like MLB, come on, Manfred, you did something good, but for one good thing, you do like 3 bad things. Like get it together. I'm not trying to like sound bad on the product. It just, it just pains me because, like, for example, we made the point, like, sometimes, like, on some days, you have to have a game at 1:00. Like, on Saturday, I think there's only one game at 1 p.m. on a Saturday. Like, we need more games. Like, dominate your season, dominate the windows. Like, football's out. Like, dominate your
Dominate Memorial Day. Like 4th of July in baseball should be bigger than it is. Totally agree. I think MLB has done an outstanding job improving the on-field product over the past few seasons. The pitch clock has made a huge difference. There is a genuine buzz around the sport of baseball right now. People are flocking to the stadiums more so than they ever have. But there are some minor things with the scheduling, with the way I think the way they market the game, with the way, some of these rivalry weekends, some of these like other special games that they do, they can tap into that stuff more. I do think there's some things that they can work out that can take it to even the next step, because I do think they should be dominating hockey. They are bigger than hockey. NBA does it outstanding internationally. You're not touching what the numbers that the NBA does internationally in terms of social media engagement and everything like that. But I do think there is a real opportunity for baseball to surpass the NBA as the second most popular sport in America. I mean, we looked at the World Series ratings last year compared to what we've seen from the NBA Finals ratings over the past few seasons, and they're very comparable. MLB has an opportunity here to take it to the next level. People are really buying in on the sport right now. And some of these things just have to come to fruition, but they're close. I do think they're close.
And you know what the problem is? Broadcasting. That's the issue. That's one of the biggest issues. Why does NBA ratings still get enough ratings? They do because everybody loves the NBA on TNT. Like, they don't give much of analysis, but like, that's what they love. They love the anecdotes. They love hearing from ex players, and they love just like players coming out. And they're trying to do that with TBS, but it hasn't gotten to that point. Why is NHL on TNT so popular? Because I enjoy it, because again, let the personalities be, and they have podcasts, baseball podcasts, and hockey influencers and hockey podcasts that make it popular. For example, Pink Whitney, who's the alcoholic drink, was based off a podcast of Barstool, and it is one of the most popular podcasts in the world. It was called Spittin' Chicklets. That's the thing.
Yeah, I think part of the reason people like the NBA so much is because of the storylines. We know all about LeBron coming through high school. We know all about Anthony Edwards coming up through high school. We know about KD and his journey through his career coming up through Texas, and then with the Thunder and the Warriors. MLB, I think what they should do is really, outside of just saying, because MLB, I think what they're trying to do right now is they're trying to market their product the way the NBA does. And you see a lot of stuff about all these players and, it's Judge versus Ohtani in the World Series. It's true, but baseball is different. It's not a player versus player matchup, or like people aren't tuning in. Yeah, sure, you'll tune in to see Aaron Judge, but he's only on the screen for a very small fraction amount of the time. I think they need to tap into more so the teams and the players. Now, when they certainly have a lot of marketable players, and I think what they need to do a better job of is really telling the story of these players and their backgrounds of these players. Like, the majority of Yankee fans probably have no idea where Aaron Judge went to college, where he grew up. I don't know anything about really Ohtani, his origins, outside of the fact that he came through Japan and was a prodigy as a child, and came through the traditional baseball route that Japanese players do. Tell those stories so people get invested from a young age. And I think they are kind of trying to do that. They're posting a lot of stuff on Instagram about the draft coming up. And maybe that's something that baseball just is inherently at a disadvantage of, because with basketball, people do watch college basketball. People don't watch as much college baseball, so we don't really get to see the college guys as much, and we don't watch high school baseball, obviously. And you have people coming up straight through high school, and then you got the minor leagues and that whole system. But like, start to tell the stories so people can get invested in these players at a young age. Tell the cool stories like Cam Boozer that they talked about in the Netflix show. Those cool stories that people really like, kind of align with, or it resonates with them. Tell us more about that stuff. Like, I don't know anything about Julio Rodriguez's upbringing. Like, tell me about that. And this is just one of the players that came to mind. The on-field product it's the best it's been in my life right now. So I'm curious to see where they go from here.
We'll see. Well, let's talk about it. Let's run through quickly some series. I'm just going to run through them. Guardians won 2 out of 3, winning 5-0 on Monday, 2-0 on Tuesday. Brewers won today 9-5. I think the funnest series of the week was Boston Detroit. Tigers won 14-2 on Monday. Tanner Hoke hit the IL right after the game after getting shelled. Hit the IL today, and then Javi Baez, woohoo, El Mago, walk-off homer last night. 2 home run day, walk-off homer, 6 RBIs last night. Talk about it. Red Sox pen issues continue. 5 innings in the third with 7 earned. Any thoughts on that series?
Tigers resilient. I mean, we posted that Javier Baez clip at the perfect time. He had that huge night last night, and yeah, I think the Red Sox pen is going to be their Achilles heel. They're tied right now 5-5 in the top of the 9th with the Tigers, and they're 22-22. If the Red Sox lose this game, they're a game under 500, and it kind of just raises the question of like, is anybody going to push the Yankees in that division? Because the Red Sox got to figure something out at first base, and they got to figure out that pitching staff. The Red Sox got some areas that they need to upgrade, and Toronto, Tampa, and Baltimore, like, they're not any good. It could just be Yankees in the East this year.
Yeah, I mean, pitching for the Red Sox is going to be a big issue. Cardinals finally came back to earth today, winning on Monday 3-2. Matthew Liberatore had a decent start, but Ivan Herrera with the home run in the 6th to make it 2-1, winning 3-2. Schwarber extends his streak to 47 games on base, 9 straight for the Cardinals till today, where they played yesterday's rain out, and the Phillies won 2-1. Jesus Luzardo with 7 innings, Straw 1 earned, 6 strikeouts. Now at 2 ERA. The Schwarber streak actually snapped today in Game 1. They are playing Game 2 currently as we speak.
Yeah, Game 2 has been crazy. I had it on in the background, or I have it on in the background. Aaron Nola, 3 2/3, 9 earned runs. His ERA is up to 6.16, and then Sonny Gray gave up 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 pitched. But the Cardinals are up 10-7 right now in the 8th. Mason Wins had himself a day, homered in the 4th, and then singled in the 8th. He's heating up, man.
Talk about it, my guy. Talk about it. Let's also talk about the Nationals and Braves series. Biggest news in the Braves country this week is that Ronald Acuna is up to AAA now. Hit a home run in his rehab stint. Earlier.
Wait, AAA? Is it AAA?
Now he's going up to AAA. He also apologized for his comments. Sounds like he's pretty close. If he's apologizing for the comments, getting moved to AAA, we may see Acuna right here soon, my guy.
What comments?
He did remember the comments he made about that we talked about on the pod? You don't remember?
Did we?
Yeah, we did, about the double standards with Brian Schnicker.
The whole tweet thing. Yeah.
So he apologized. Looks like we may get Acuna here.
Yeah.
Really soon.
I was hoping that he was gonna be in Boston for that series, but he definitely won't. We'll miss him this weekend. But yeah, I think NMA could be back. Good for your fantasy team.
Hey, we're getting hot. Watch out. We're getting hot. We're coming. Barry Sanders, we coming. Pause. They won 2 games already. The Game 3 is getting played right now, so they already won the series. Pittsburgh and the Mets. Mets won on Monday. The Paul Skeens starts, which it was a star-studded event. You had Livy Dunn was at the game. Camilo Kostek, which for many people know is Rob Gronkowski's partner. Xandra Paul, the DJ from Cincinnati, Ohio, that's pretty big on social media, was also there. Big star-studded place to be on Monday night in Citi Field. They won 4-3. Paul Skeens pitched 6 hits, 1 earned, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts. Tough outing. Hunter Brozaban blew the save in the 9th, but Mets still won. Yesterday, the Mets won 2-1. Kodai Senga making a run for the Cy Young, currently with the lowest ERA. Brett Beatty is on a tear. Hit a home run, going 2 for 3. Thoughts on that?
What the hell, Burton? There's some really cool broadcast shots. The director for the Mets SNY broadcast, apparently he's like really into film, and he does these extremely cool, unique broadcast shots that you just don't see in any sports broadcast. You can only really pull this stuff off in baseball broadcasts. He essentially tries to recreate certain cool shots he sees in movies and in film. There's a really cool thread on Twitter from B Jark N2, BGARCN2, talking about this guy. I think there was an article on some news outlet. John DeMarcio is the director's name at SNY. Really cool stuff. It was on the New York Times, so The Athletic, because they own the New York Times, or the New York Times owns The Athletic. There's some really cool stuff that he does on these broadcasts that makes their a unique viewing experience. Different like shots. I don't know how to describe it, but it's really cool. I recommend watching SNY broadcast just for that, to be honest. But in terms of series, no takeaways. Mets keep winning, but their series is all about this weekend. They are losing 4-0 right now.
Let's keep it moving. Cubs won the series. I know Andrew was boots on the ground yesterday. They won 5-4. Moses Ballesteros made his debut yesterday. PCA hit a homer last night. They won Monday 5-2 Cubs, and they won yesterday 5-4. Kansas City, Houston.
Wait. On the Cubs, easy week for them with Miami and Chicago and White Sox, but they are losing right now 3-1 in the sixth. Kyle Stowers has hit 2 home runs tonight for the Marlins. He has 10 on the year. He's been good. I actually might go pick him up in fantasy right now as we speak.
He is currently claimed. So
dang it.
Yeah. He has top 10 in barrel rate right now in Major League Baseball. But regardless, Kansas City, Houston, it's a split. Royals won 7-5 on Monday, and then the Astros won 2-1 with Isaac Paredes walk-off, as I said. Chris Bubek and Framber Valdez were dueling. Framber went 8 with 6 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, and Chris Bubek went 6 1/3, and 6 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. Good start.
Put some respect on Chris Bubek's name. Last year he came in relief. All of his appearances were in relief, 27 for the Royals. This year he's starting. He was a starter earlier in his career, but he's back in the starter role. 9 starts on the season. He has a 1.66 ERA. He's been incredible. That Royals pitching staff is really good again.
Really good. Colorado, Texas. Texas has won 2 out of 2 right now. They're playing right now. Chase Dollander had a good start.
Chase Dollander did have his first good start. Sorry. It's 4-1 Rangers right now in the third. I mean, the Rockies are really, really bad team, but Dollander did look good. But Wyatt Langford had that home run that broke up the no-hitter. And grim scenes. I mean, good bounce back year seasons or series for the Rangers. Finally got it there. I was going to say, Corey Seager back on the injured list with re-aggravated that hamstring. Sucks for them.
Yep, sucks for me. Arizona and San Francisco. D-backs won 2 out of 3, winning today 8-7. Ketel Marte hit 2 homers. Suarez hit homer 13. Last night, the Hooligans went nuts with Jung-Hoo Lee hitting a home run last night. Bad pen from Arizona, something to worry about. And then on Monday, Corbin Carroll hit 2 homers. So lots of home runs here, and it's pretty difficult in San Francisco.
Yeah, he has 14 home runs. Eugenio Suarez hit his 13th of the season today. But Corbin Carroll, I mean, is he your MVP in the National League right now?
Fernando Tatis is my MVP, as I will talk about now. Angels, Padres. Again, bad defense by the Padres cost them the game on Monday. Angels won 9-5. Michael King went 5 2/3, but it was really tough as Jake Cronenworth blew the double play ball to the first baseman, which pretty much ended Michael King's night. And then it was time for the Angels to put up 9 runs, and they won the game. And then yesterday, Tatis walked it off with an absolute, I don't know if you've seen it, but Baseball for Baddies did a great analysis as Fernando Tatis stopped mid-swing to retime it. That's mutant stuff.
Yeah, he He has that leg kick. It's not as much this year, but he got his front foot down way too early, and his timing was all off. And he like recalibrated his body and his swing in the middle of his swing, and still hit it out. I mean, yeah, he's electric talent. Electric. He like baseball is better when he's good because like that dude has so much effortless swagger. Like I don't really throw that word around, but dude is. I wish he was on the Yankees. I'd say that. I wish. I mean, I know that's not crazy to say, but. He is a fun player to watch, man.
Dylan Cease, 6 2/3, 2 earned, 10 Ks. Word on the street is on Twitter is he has a new girlfriend, and maybe it's a new girlfriend bounce. Who knows?
I saw that note in the doc.
Yeah.
Who's he dating?
Chris Paddock's ex. Minnesota. So hey, who knows? Maybe the new girlfriend bounce. Finally official. Had to work out the kinks in the relationship at the start, and now here we go, full steam ahead.
Maybe. I mean, the Yankees start helped him. 10 Ks in this one. Good job.
Yep. Then you have White Sox Reds. White Sox won 5-1 and 11 yesterday. Tampa Toronto. Jeff Hoffman blew another save. Location issues for Jeff Hoffman. Junior Caminero hit a grand slam that made it 11 that pretty much ended the game last night. A's went nuclear in LA. Jacob Wilson went multi-home run last night.
What was that?
What's
that game was crazy.
Yeah, I said it was crazy. It was
11. I know. 11-1 A's over Dodgers. At what point do we like start having the conversation like this Jacob Wilson thing is like legit?
Oh, I mean, you're finally getting on the train. I was like one of the first ones on the train.
I've been on the train, but I didn't think he was going to be hitting 363 in mid-May with a 902 OPS.
He was
power last night.
You were not on the evaluation train with him when he was first drafted. You can.
I was not. It's on tape. It's on video. I was definitely not in on him when he got drafted. I'm past that.
Yeah, but I just think some of the balls he hit, like a mid-90s fastball up, I think like any MLB hitter is going to take out the park. Some of the pitches he got last night were very,
okay.
I still think his future is not at shortstop. I don't think he's like arm is there, and I don't think he's that fast. I don't think he's going to project to be a multi-homer game. No. I just think he just got fed up some 92, 95 mile an hour fastball up. Yeah, up in the zone.
It was Landon Knack that started, right?
Yeah,
yesterday.
Landon Knack. Dodgers have a lot of pin issues right now.
I was going to ask you the question. Are any concerns about the Dodgers right now with their pitching staff?
Remind me write it down. Remind me in August what their rotation looks like.
Okay. I'm writing that down in the notes right now.
I know they're dealing with injuries, but I mean, everybody has an injury bug right now. I mean, they don't have Tommy Edman. They don't have Teoscar Hernandez. So they just lost Roki Sasaki, which,
could be a good thing for them.
Pretty interesting comments by Dave Roberts where he said that they knew that he was dealing with something. He may kind of alluded to the point, and he just kept going. I don't know. And it's been noted that Roki does deal with early season injuries. Like he has to have it. Like in Japan, they were saying like, oh yeah, Roki always deals with an injury at the start of the year. Then he comes back and just wipes it clean.
They DFA'd Austin Barnes today. He's been on the team. Yeah, for Dalton Rushing, their top prospect. He's getting called up. Barnes has been with the team since 2015. I think he's their longest tenured guy outside of Kershaw. Or was. So that was tough.
Some notable injuries to talk about. Bryce Miller, inflammation. He has some inflammation in the elbow. Clayton Kershaw's back on Saturday. George Kirby and Logan Gilbert shouldn't be too long until we see both of them back. And Ian Happ has an oblique injury.
Without Miller, Kirby, and Gilbert, that is a very, very banged up Mariners rotation. And they got swept by Toronto over the weekend, and then they lose to the Yankees in 2 out of 3. They've been struggling. That division is wide open, man. That division
hop on those A's, man. Get on that A's train. But Bailey's on the A's train. It's time for you to get on the A's train.
I mean, I like their lineup for sure. Yeah.
Nick Kurtz hit a homer. I think the issue with Nick Kurtz is strikeouts, is what they're saying. 37% strikeout rate, but his they're saying he's not qualified hitter yet, but his bat speed would rank third.
Yeah, his bat speed is 77.9, which to your point, it's not qualified yet. So his you don't get official percentiles in StatCast, but it is all the way to the right, very red there.
Hey, bat speed is the new miles an hour pitched for hitters. So
yeah, kind of. I mean, go look at a funny savant page is Jordan Walker. It's all blue except bat speed. He's in the 99th percentile for bat speed. And I saw some tweet. Someone was like, maybe stop swinging as hard as you possibly can. Hey, but he's been better in the field this year for St. Louis.
Yeah. Any closing notes? I mean, boots on the ground this weekend. Anything else to say? Podcast Monday.
Yeah, podcast probably. I think it's gonna have to be Monday night. But Tales from Fenway coming in that episode. Maybe we go to New York and do a double dip. Watch the Yankees. Aroldis Chapman's about to blow a save for the Red Sox, by the way. In this game against the Tigers. Yeah, I don't know. This was a fun episode. I feel like we had some good chatter. Yeah, I'm really excited for this Yankees series, obviously, this weekend.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, Yankees sweep, Yankees in 3, New York Mets. Who even knows? Yankees in 3.
Who knows? All right. Anything else before we get out?
That's it.
All right. Thank you all for listening. Please hit that subscribe button if you enjoyed the episode. Follow us for more on our social media platforms. Like I said, we will be back on Monday. Until then, we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.